I'm lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, you guys, because I want to put the right information out there from the individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Whew. Friday, you guys. It is Friday. It's my favorite show of the week, and that is because it is Q&A day, you guys. I will answer all of your sales and operations related questions. Drop them in the chat if you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and as long as they come through here to my hosting site, StreamYard, I will answer them live on the show. I already got a couple of questions that were DM'd over to me, so I will always kick off and lead in the show with those questions that I got sent over. And then, yeah, anything else you guys get throughout the week, same thing. Just DM me throughout the week, you guys. I try and save Friday for this because, as my company grows and everything grows, it's I don't have as much time to reply to the DMs at the same way that I used to be able to do that. And I figured for the amount of questions that come in throughout the week, it's just easier just to dedicate one show and, it provides some insight from somebody who's actually building a brokerage and who's been in the industry for 15 years and who's seen a lot of this stuff. So before we go any further, as always, you guys got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers. And the best part, you guys, with what VHub's doing is you get paid to move these trailers, you guys. That's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading these trailers out. So if you're a power only carrier, or if you're if you're an owner op or a small fleet, you got a trailer in a shop, you can jump on VHub and grab a trailer and get paid to move it and then load it out with your customer's freight and get some more revenue on top of that. So what they're working on right now, you guys, is they got a bunch of trailers out in San Diego, California. They're going all over the place, you guys. They got some roll-up doors going up to New Hampshire. And then they also have standard swing doors, 53-foot swing doors going to Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, and Texas, you guys. And they range anywhere from $1,100 to $2,200 per trailer. That's right. That's on top of the revenue that you would get by finding freight to load that trailer out, you guys. And then they also have 136 trailers in Paragould, Arkansas, needing to get to Mississauga, Ontario, you guys. And they pay $736 US per trailer. So get on there. And it's not like these have to just pick up in San Diego or have to pick up in Paragould, you guys. You can just reposition them into other markets. They just have to end up on the destination city that's on there, you guys. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. Stacy Steen, Zach Lonergan, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Marcello, what is up? Team Live, he says hello from Atlanta. Got a bunch of people tuning in on YouTube this morning. I love it. Tracy St. Clair, she's the OG YouTube watcher. She's great. She's been a longtime supporter of the show. What's up, Tracy? JH, good morning, sir. Putting his initials out there. I love it. Sonny Sharma, good Friday morning. Orange shirt gang, black shirt gang. Let's all have it. Yeah, man. It's I got the Freight Coach Logistics polos in black. The supplier that I have didn't have orange ones, but in the future they will be orange Freight Coach Logistics shirts. Let me see. Anthony Tuttle, happy Friday, everyone. Catherine Whitehouse, happy Friday to you. She's watching over on YouTube, just like Dylan Turner's watching over on YouTube. All right, good morning to you as well, my man. Random question, you guys. So I've been hit up about this a bunch. I'm not trying to create an online store to sell swag or anything like that, because frankly, it's a lot of effort that I just don't have right now. But is there a market for Freight Coach attire? Because I got the hats, I got some sweatshirts, I got some stuff that I bought that I hand out to people. But is there a market for that? And if there is, what would you guys be? Maybe I'll put a poll. I've never done a poll before on LinkedIn. Maybe I'll throw that out there, but I was thinking about that as a way. And, honestly, it would be a way to any proceeds that we would get from it is, it'd probably turn into a charitable donation out there. But yeah, if that's the thing, I don't know. I would need to learn how to set it up. I'd have to get with my CPA from a tax structure incentive and all of that shit. But yeah, if there's enough people, I'll put a poll out there. If there is a Freight Coach bobblehead, Teal, no, that is not going to happen. We will not have a bobblehead because God knows what you would be doing with that thing. But no, I'm just thinking of a way to, because I've been approached with it a bunch, and it's something that I don't necessarily have the time to create because, like, if I was to put stuff out there, obviously I gotta set it up properly from a business structure perspective. But if there's enough of a want or a need for it, I'd be willing to do it, and then I could work out something where some of the proceeds from the sales could just go directly into a charitable contribution that we as an industry could make to something. I'll kick it around. I'll throw a poll out there. We'll see what the interest is, and then we'll roll with that. I'll get a Freight Coach Jim. Fuck, man. Oh my gosh. Dude, that would be hilarious if you got a Freight Coach. Like, dude, that's like Joe Rogan-esque right there. Because people get Rogan's tattoo all the time, man. Dude, that would be sick. I would. Fuck, man. Let's go. Tracy St. Clair says, yes, Dino, Evans Delivery in the house. What's going on, man? Anthony, I appreciate that. Thank you. He says he'll rock your shit, boss. I love it. Yeah, man, that's great. Okay, so quick recap this week, you guys. It's been a busy week. Fortunately, we had a lot of freight moving this week, and a lot of it was, again, like a lot. Don't discredit and discount the experiences that you get in this industry, right? Like I was, one of my customers had a very unique scenario dropped on their lap last minute. As a business owner, it would be probably up there as one of the worst case scenarios to have happen, especially in the time frame that it needed to be accomplished. And without getting into too much details, we had to organize a decent amount of trucks to do multiple turns a day, every day this week to accommodate a large scale move for them. And, fortunately, I've been in that position before with another customer of mine, not as urgent. The other one was like a gradual rollout. They were moving a bunch of product from one area to another, but this one was unexpected, unplanned, and we were able to get in there and accommodate that. I had been there before, so I knew what to do. And frankly, it's one of those situations is when you're bringing that stuff up to your carriers, because this is where, having quality carrier partners really came into play. Fortunately, it was in an area of ours that we move a lot of freight out of. So we were able to call a couple of our regulars, right? And that's the beauty of this, you guys, in these instances is the regular carriers that we work with literally were able to move stuff around. They were able to position. We had 3 trucks a day for 4 straight days doing multiple round trips of this, you guys. And it was all regular carriers of ours. And they, we were able to pull off I don't want to call it a miracle, but we were able to pull off a lot of stuff in not a lot of time. And, that comes up with us investing in those carrier partnerships that we do in my organization. And, it's an oversight by a lot of companies. It really is. And, and I'm not, it's not easy. I'm never going to say any of the shit that I talk about here is easy, but I know more times than not, when you apply this method to your operation and to your organization, you will see dividends long term. It just isn't a get rich quick scheme. And that's kind of what a lot of people fall into that trap in businesses is they think that I can just become a millionaire overnight. And that's why I started creating content originally back in 2020 was because all the shit that I saw out there, it was just like, oh, cold call a shipper. You get all this freight. Then you find a carrier and then you're a millionaire as a broker. And on paper, yeah, I could see how you can make an argument that that's kind of the way it goes, but it's so much more complex than that. And, for me, it's always don't discredit and discount the experiences that you're going through right now and how they are forming you into the sales rep and the service provider that is going to be needed down the road. And that's one thing that early on in my career I did. I discounted that and I didn't take it into consideration. And then now, as Rob, teach me. Robert Peterson says, I became a millionaire after my first call. Oh, brother, that's hilarious. But no, it's, it's not discrediting those experiences in the moment because it might seem meaningless, but that experience is going to pay off one day, and it's going to pay off in a big way that you're able to come in and help your customers, right? Because at the end of the day, that's all I want to do. My organization, I just want to add value to them in any way I can. And, we were able to move a lot of product for them in not a lot of time. And it was based on the fact that we have applied this, we've applied this methodology every single time, day in and day out. We don't deviate away from our plan. It doesn't matter what the market is to me. I operate the exact same way. It doesn't matter if I make minus $500 on a load or if I'm making, $5,000 on a load. Arbitrary number. Don't fucking come at me with that. But you guys know what I mean. My customer receives the exact same level of service. My customer receives the exact same level of communication and dedication to that business because there's ebbs and flows to this stuff, you guys. There's ebbs and flows. You're going to win, you're going to lose, but at the end of the day, you're going to teach yourself a lot of what not to do. And that's, frankly, you guys, that's all I'm going to sit here and say on this show and any of my shows. I just know a lot of what not to do. I don't know everything. I know a lot of what not to do in this industry. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm going to continue to deliver this content for you guys to use at your will, right? Like, this isn't ever going to be behind a paywall or anything like that. Like, yes, fortunately, I have advertisers on my content, on my podcast, VHub, Green Screens, Load Smart, SPI. I got another one coming up here being announced August 1st. But, fortunately, I have all of that. And I'm going to continue to do this and put this out there. Because, I did this for free for a long time too. Right. And I will always be committed to putting out the right information for people in the industry. And again, take it for what it's worth. It might not work for you. I'm not sitting here telling anybody you have to follow this, but I'm just giving you my experience. I'm just going to show you guys the pathway of how we scale my company up from where we are right now to a $5 million, $25 million, 50, 500, and $50 billion organization. I'm going to literally lay it all out there as we grow up and scale out, because I'm going to build the largest transportation company in North American history. That's where I'm going with this. And I'm just going to utilize content and as a way to put information out there for you guys to use. And yeah, let me see here. Tony, I do not need drayage. Darnell says, tell them you can save them 20%. Dude, that's true, man. That's very true. Tell them you can save them 20%. It works. 60% of the time, it works all the time, right? Isn't that what the guy on Anchorman said? Sex Panther, the cologne, 60% of the time works all the time. It smells like Bigfoot's. Anthony Tuttle, teach me. Jim Hand says, I'm getting back to the industries after a few years out after selling my brokerage. What are your tips to scale back up quickly? Don't scale up quickly at all. I understand the want and the need to cast a wide net and kind of go after everything, Jim. But I'm all about the niche, brother. I'm all about the niche. We specialize in open deck and heavy haul transportation. Yes, we do dry van because there's a lot of freight that is intertwined between flatbed and dry van freight that's out there. But for me personally, man, scaling fast, adding revenue isn't a winning strategy at all, man. I want to develop out and really learn the ins and outs of I want to learn the ins and outs of a lot of my customers or organizations. And then frankly, I know that when I do stick within my niche, the majority of the customers that I'm going after that are, do building materials or construction equipment or, pipe, they all kind of have the exact same issues, right? So for me to identify that, and then really I look at it like this. You got to ask yourself, Jim, do you have the infrastructure in your organization right now to accommodate if a shipper dropped 100 loads on your lap today and said, I need it picked up by 5 o'clock? If you do, don't look at it, take the opposite of what I'm saying here. But I think that for most people, again, I want to scale fast too, man. I want to have all of that shit, but I also understand the value in the slow and steady approach and really working out a lot of those kinks to identify where is the real value you can add inside of your customers' operations. And, for me personally, If a shipper came to me and says, I need you to pick up 100 loads for me today, I wouldn't be able to do that as a company. As much as it pains me to say, unless I can get my friends over at like Hub Tech or Lean Solutions to give me 50 people to each book trucks. But that, the reality of it, man, is it's a process that takes a lot of time. And that's just what I'm going to, that's what I'm going to stick with, on that, man. It's a slow and steady approach, but I think that in due time, you will have more freight than you know what to do with, brother. And Tony, Jim says he can only save 19%. Adolfo, what is up, my friend? Good for wearing orange shirt. Yes, you are. See, that's why I'm not wearing an orange shirt today, is because Adolfo's wearing one. No, I got, I'm just wearing this because every time I travel and fly, because I'm catching a flight here in a couple hours, I always wear my Freight Coach Logistics shirts out there because I am a brand and I want to put my brand out there, and you never know who you are going to bump into out there. Papa, I can see. Robert says just revenue doesn't keep the door open. Lots of brokers. Yeah, it's true, man. It's true, Robert. And dude, you see that a lot right now. Really, and a lot of times, man, is revenue doesn't equal money, right? Like top line revenue doesn't include profit at that point too. It's just like, if you're $100 million top line revenue broker, but you only have 10% margins, so you got 10 million in EBITDA. And by the time you're done, what your overhead looks like and everything else, man, you could be losing at that point. You see it a lot. And I think that is a lesson that a lot of people learn in business. And again, like I said, yesterday, I've never been in charge of a $150 million company. I'll let you know when I get there on the decision-making that goes on from my perspective. But, it's an unfortunate situation. And I think it's always one of those where you can Monday morning quarterback the shit out of everything. But until you are in that position yourself, it's, you just never know, man. But let me see here. All right. Another question I got. It was a DM to Adolfo. There we go. Top line is growth. Bottom line is sustainability. I got this one earlier today. It says, I've been following your content for about a month. Appreciate that. I was wondering if you had any advice for something on a smaller scale. I have a small freight, Toronto-based, that consists mostly of both refrigerated trailers and straight trucks. I was wondering what, in your opinion, helps to bring in new potential clients. Most companies I've reached out already have had a shipping solution for a while. The only thing to my advantage would be immediate reach, the transparency and consistency of my rates. I was wondering if you had any solutions or what do you do to find contacts for little companies like ours? I love this question because it's kind of like a lot of what I'm going through right now, right? Like I'm just a little old freight broker, right? Like we're starting out. My agency's through SPI Logistics, shout out to them. They have a phenomenal organization that we're able to utilize from a back office perspective and everything else. And it's one of those things that I wouldn't change anything that we're doing right now in our partnership with them. But in regards to this question, I think the best piece of advice is to get out there and visit people in person, especially if you own the trucks, right? If you have the actual equipment, get out there and just show up at places. Yesterday, for example, I literally did that. Like that's my entire prospecting philosophy here in the greater Phoenix metro area is I'm reaching out to them to set up a time to go out and visit. I want to go and talk to them in person. I want them to see me. I want them to be able to look me in the eye. I want them to be able to feel that I fucking care about their business, right? And I think that that's what you do in this situation, man, is you got to get out there and just meet as many people as possible. And then, on top of that, what is your value add? Is your value add that you have a truck? Or what is it that your truck can do to fix or provide a solution for your prospects? And again, it's like, that's why I'm always about the niche. Like I talk about here, you guys, is every single shipper for the most part that has food grade shipments, there's an iteration of the exact same problems that are happening inside of their organization that are happening inside of all food organizations. And, and that's why I think that the more and more you do that, you identify and you become more fluid in your approach. But I just think that, get out there and visit as many people that you possibly can. Invest in it. Yes, it's an upfront expense. Of course it is, but it pales in comparison to the relationships that you are able to build in doing that. And then frankly, it's like right now, and again, like my opinion has changed on this over my career, because like when I first got into the industry, it was cold call, smile and dial, baby. That was it. That was the only way. But as that generation of transportation managers have since left the industry, there's a new generation of transportation managers who are completely fine with DMs. They're completely fine with email communication or text message communication, and they actually prefer it. I think that from my perspective, it's really identifying that. But I think like if you can get in front of somebody, I think in today's day and age of automation, which again, I'm a fan of automation, but when it comes to the sales process, man, getting out there and seeing people, not a lot of people are willing to do that. Not a lot of people are willing to do that at all. I prefer it. I like talking to people in person. And that's my approach. So that's what I would say for you in this situation, is I would just get out there and work in that in-person angle, man. And you will be pleasantly surprised how many companies want to work with the small local providers that are just like you, brother. So get out there and do that. Andrew Teal says, show up with salon quality. That's true, man. It's very true, dude. There's nothing beats a fresh haircut. If you got a quality barber, go get a fresh shave, straight razor shave, fresh cut, maybe a little hard part like your boy's got right here. Says a lot. Just saying. Just says a lot. Just saying. Mike, dude, I can't wait to go up to Canada and see you. I'm going to be going live up in Vancouver here with my guy Mike at SPI Logistics the week of August 7th. I'm going Canada, baby. It's going to be my first international live show. Second, because I was in Mexico for one, but this one, yeah. And then Mike says, invest in face-to-face meeting people, work with people they like and trust. Very well said, Mike. Anthony Tuttle says, completely agree. Put yourself out there and show face. Next question I got was about, I want to know the process of getting a customer. Would you recommend putting rates in front of them right away? Or how would you assist? I mean, the best rating platform to provide prices, you guys all know, is Greenscreens, right? So if you're going to take that strategy, go to greenscreens.ai/the freight coach, show your boys some support that way. I'm using them. But no, I think that the best process of getting a customer, in doing that, if you're going to take that approach is you better have actually moved those lanes before. All right. Don't just fucking throw rates out there for the sake of throwing rates out there, you guys, at all. That is a losing strategy, especially if you don't actually know what you would pay on a shipment. But I think, let me just go back to the first part of your question, is the process of getting a customer. Kind of like what I was saying here, establish what you want to actually move. And if you don't know, like say you're just like, you're new, you don't even know what freight you want. What do you like? Like, what's a hobby outside of work that you find yourself in? Are you a golfer? Do you like hunting? Do you like off-roading? What do you like to do? Start with a hobby and then research some of the manufacturers, see if there's any in your area. And again, offer just to swing by and introduce yourself. But I think find something that you're already passionate about, and try and build up a book of business around that, right? Like, I mean, I don't really, this is going to sound bad, but like, I really don't have a ton of like hobbies. But I look at like when I was younger, I loved to camp. So like if I was starting over and I had no idea what I wanted to go after, man, I would just go after like, all right, what do I have out at a campsite? You got coolers, mugs, Andrew Teals. No, I'm just kidding. But you got coolers, sleeping bags, cots, outdoor equipment, lanterns, stuff like that, and be like, all right, cool. I could start prospecting some of those customers. And then, okay, well, they would go from a distribution center probably into or they would go into a distribution center, probably a big box retailer and stuff like that. Are they large enough of a provider where they're sending full truckloads? If they're a local company, maybe not. Maybe they're just doing LTL. Then I would start researching a little bit about LTL. I would research about dry van shipments as well and see where that stuff is shipped on and what are the requirements that come along with it. Does it need a load bar? Does it need vertical E-tracks? Does it need airbags in there to lock the pallets in place? There's a lot of little things like that again, I think you find that tribal information, and then you take that and then you build up your sales pitch towards that. And, the only advice I can give on what to say is you got to make the calls, right? You got to make the calls. You got to send the emails. You got to get your teeth kicked in to find out what's working and what's not working. Because what works for me probably won't work for you, because people are going to buy from you because they like you. Like Mike said, they work with people that they like and trust. And that is very, very true. And you need to formulate your own words, but it's not about always providing a price, right? It's not always about that. Yes, that's a component of it, you guys, but what are you saying that's going to add value to their organization? Because anybody can provide a rate, right? Anybody can provide a rate. Anybody can provide capacity as a broker. Like, that's very base level table stakes shit right there. So what can you do that's going to make you stand out in their eyes and in front of their organization and stuff? And I think that a lot of it is going to come from, again, picking something that you like about. If you've never sold freight before, you're coming in, you don't know what the hell you want to do, find a hobby of yours that you already do. Find out all of that stuff, because all that shit moves on a truck, right? All of that stuff moves on a truck, and start there and then research about that product. How do you ship a pallet of lanterns, or how do you ship a pallet of tents? And then, furthermore, take it a step further, go out and try and just meet some people and network. Start networking, you guys. I cannot stress the importance of networking enough. That is the thing that I missed out on so much early on in my career, is the power of networking and what that can do for you as an individual. It might not lead to business, but it can lead to that confidence that you're searching for as you're trying to build your book of business up, right? Because you just got to get comfortable talking to people. You got to get comfortable talking to strangers. And again, I'm not going to try and take credit for this, but Andy Frisella talks about this on his podcast a lot. Just go out and talk to strangers, right? Go up inside of a grocery store and talk to somebody in there and just get comfortable talking to people, right? I'm naturally an introvert. I really am. I thoroughly enjoy going home and not talking to anybody. But I know the value in it. So it's like when I'm out there, when I'm working, I'm going to talk to people. And if I walk into a room, every motherfucker inside of that room is going to know who I am by the time I'm done inside of that room. And I just think that you need to take that approach and just get out there and just talk to people and network. So that would be my best advice out there for that question. Andrew Teal says, also better know that they moved those lanes as a shipper in the past, telling me you're 1900 on A to B, but I only ship D to E. I don't care. Yeah. Amen, man. It is knowing there's stuff. And Anthony Tuttle says, yes, know your shit, but get in with good timing. Yeah, man. Timing helps. It definitely helps. Then he says, I'm an automotive junkie since prospecting the aftermarket. Yeah, man. Dude, it's different, right? Because you're like, dude, that's a thing. That's a passion of yours. So that's good to see, man. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. That was a Q&A show. I appreciate all the questions that you guys always drop out there in the DMs, and we do this every single Friday. Brand new episode of the podcast is available right now with my friend Dan Lindsay. He's putting on the Broker Carrier Summit in Tampa, Florida later on this year, again, about bridging those relations and everything, you guys. And then again, shout out to my friends over at VHub, Green Screens, SPI Logistics, Load Smart, another advertiser of mine that's coming up here in a little bit that is going to be named here in a second. But, I just appreciate all the support, you guys, from all of those companies, from all of you guys who come in week in and week out. It means the world to me, you guys. It really does, the support that you guys show. And I'm going to keep coming back every fucking day. And we're going to move this industry forward in the right direction. But that's going to be it, you guys. And as always, if you got value, subscribe and share that show. Rank that show out there on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.